Hey, brand builder, Rory Vaden here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this interview. As always, it's our honor to provide it to you for free. And wanted to let you know there's no big sales pitch or anything coming at the end. However, if you are someone who is looking to build and monetize your personal brand, we would love to talk to you and get to know you a little bit and hear about some of your dreams and visions and share with you a little bit about what we're up to see if we might be a fit. So if you're interested in a free strategy call with someone from our team, we would love to hear from you. You can do that at brandbuildersgroup.com/podcall, brandbuildersgroup.com/podcall. We hope to talk to you soon.
Hey y'all, welcome to the recap episode of my conversation with Stephanie Szostak, who is my favorite Hollywood actress and also someone that you should go check out and listen to in this episode. Talk about an authentic human being, of someone who is just unabashedly herself in the most amazing way possible. But we talked about, presentation tips from, the Hollywood actors and actresses. And I loved her take on this. And we talked about a whole bunch of things, but here's a few things that I think that I would like to highlight and some of the conversation that we had with Stephanie on the show. And the first is, has nothing to do with presentation or anything, but since I know Stephanie personally, and we talked a little bit about this on the episode, is how she got her start in acting and in modeling. And it was a very non-traditional route. And it was a great reminder to me. And what I want to share on this recap episode is that it's never too late. It's never too late to start something new, to find your calling and be the best at it that you can possibly be. And I love this because Stephanie started her modeling and her acting career in her late 20s. Y'all, most people are starting their modeling careers in their late teens, not their late 20s. So in theory, she was a decade behind the ball. And also, this isn't recent, right? This was now almost 20 years ago. So this wasn't common for that time period for her to be doing this in her late 20s, but she did. And then she started acting, and it's like she got her start, quote unquote, late, but I don't think it was late. I think it was perfectly timed for exactly where she was doing what she was meant to do at that time of her life. That's true for you too. It's true for me. It was true for her, and it's true for you. You are not too old. You are not too young. It is not too early. It is not too late to do what you feel like you were called to do what you're passionate about doing. The time is right now, and it's the best time. It's the best time right friggin' now. So I love that. And I loved her story. I just love her story in general of it's never too late to reinvent and to be something new and to be somebody new, and not being afraid to do that. And yeah, it will cause new learning curves and changes, but that's okay. Because if that's what you're called to do, it's all worth it. I love this quote, and I don't have the name of the person who quoted this, but I'm going to share it anyways, even though I cannot give credit where credit is due. This is not my quote. Do not quote me on this. But it's like, it's going to be hard, but because you're passionate about it, it'll all be worth it. I will find the author of that quote and put it in the show notes, but I love that quote. It's like, yeah, it's going to be hard, but because you're passionate about it, it will all be worth it. And that is a great reminder of one of the big takeaways I took from this episode, of just recounting her story of how she got into acting and modeling. And today she has been in so many amazing movies and shows and is incredible at what she does, but started in her late 20s, seemingly too late, but actually perfectly timed for exactly where she should be and what she should be doing. Okay, that was the first thing. The next two things do have to do with some presentation tips. And I love this. And I think these are really important for anyone who gives presentations. And let me just be clear. School teachers give presentations. Parents give presentations. Employees, employers, speakers, authors, consultants, podcasters. Yes, we all give presentations. Like if you are in a job of communicating to another human person, you give presentations. You just don't view it that way, but you do. And that is a communication change that we all need to have in terms of public speaking and presentations. And I think it's so interesting that, the number one fear of people is public speaking, even above death. I think that's just fascinating. But yet we all speak in public all the time. Like, when do you not speak in public? Like, you're talking to strangers all the time when you order your coffee or you order food. And yes, I know they're not like formal presentations, but are we afraid to do those things? Or is it just the idea of being in front of a group of people and being stared at and potentially judged and not knowing how they're going to perceive you? Is that what we're really afraid of? Not the speaking itself, but really the fear of being judged. And I think that's a better thing of what people are really afraid of. It's not public speaking. It's, what if I don't bring any value, right? What if they don't like it? What if they don't like me? What if somebody records it, puts it on the internet, and I become a meme, right? That's what we're afraid of. Not the public speaking. We're not afraid of that. We're afraid of all the things that come with public speaking. So I think that was in really good context of, you got to get really clear on like, what are you trying to convey and what emotion do you want to convey when you're doing it? And it can't be an emotion of fear. That's for dang sure. And so I think the first thing I loved about this is she really gets in the mindset of, you have to be in tune with what emotion are you trying to create before you go out and try to create it. So simple, but yet so freaking hard to like really tap into. It's like, how do I want to tell this story? How do I want to deliver this message? How do I want the audience to feel? And in her case, viewers around the world, how do I want them to feel in this moment? And I think that comes back to, again, something else that's really important is we're afraid when we make it all about us. But if we were to change our mindset on what it means to public speak or present or communicate, and we were less focused on how are we going to sound, how are we going to look, how are people going to view us, and we were more concerned with how do I help them get this information in a way that's going to be impactful to them? How do I share this information in a way that they will receive it? Or how do I give it to them in a way that they will enjoy it, have fun with it, use it, right? But if we make it about them, not us, it changes the landscape of how we create our presentations and how we communicate in general. But you got to go with it with, what do I want them to feel? Not how do I want to feel? How do I want them to feel? And start your presentation, start your plan for communication from there. So good. So good. Loved that. Third thing, last thing I'm going to share. I'm trying to keep these under 10 minutes, always for your listening convenience. But here's the last thing that I would share that I thought was a really good takeaway is just how you get yourself in the mindset before you communicate or present. And that could be, again, to your family, to a video camera, like I'm doing right now. I'm not talking to anyone right now. I'm talking to myself on Zoom, but I have all of you in mind. Right. So it's like, I need to know, it's like, what do I really want you to get from this? So it's like, I'm not presenting to a group of people right now, but yet I am presenting to a group of people because I have you all in mind. So how are you getting yourself in the right mind space, the right head space before you go in and present, right? So she gives ideas around like, do you have music that you listen to? Do you have affirmations that you read, right? Is there like some sort of body movement that you do? Do you have notes that you want to look over? But what are you doing to get yourself in the right space to make sure that you bring your best self to that presentation or communication or video or whatever it is, that encounter? But it's like, what are you doing to put yourself in like game mode? Right? It's like, if I were going to go out and, I don't know why this came to mind. If I was going to go out and like do a tennis match, which I'm not a very good tennis player and I've never been in a match, so I don't know why that came to mind, but it's like, I'm pretty sure I'd have an idea of what I would do. I'd probably have some warm-up rounds. I'd have my playlist prepared and ready to go. I would have my affirmations. Are we doing the same thing when we turn on that camera and hit record? Or are we doing that same thing before we address our team? Or are we doing that same thing before we have that one-on-one conversation, or before we step on stage, before we hit go on a podcast interview, right? Are we getting in game mode before we go and do it? So yeah, this was such a solid interview. So many applicable tips. And what I loved, it's not just about being a presenter, i.e. a speaker or an actress. It's about how to be a communicator. We all communicate, and this applies to all of us. So how do we get in the mode of being good communicators, and just realizing like it's about them, not us. is about them, not us. Go listen to this episode. Go check out the full thing. Go look up Stephanie Szostak, coolest girl ever. Love her. Go check her out. Go listen to the episode, and we'll catch you next time on the Influential Personal Brand. We'll see y'all.